And then finally, you have an extremely unstable neighborhood. We are not speaking Canada here. I mean, Canada has the cold but peaceful Arctic to the north, and this large complicated country to the south of you, about which I am sure you have many ambivalent feelings. Some of you may love it, some of you may detest it, but all of you know that it's not going to invade you or send terrorists into your territory. So Canada, the situation of Canada in this respect could not be more opposed to that of India. India lives in one of the most unstable neighborhoods in the world. To our west is Pakistan, which has rightly been called the most dangerous country in the world, which could implode at any moment, which has consistently aided and abetted terrorist attacks on India. To our east, we have Bangladesh, which is at the moment undergoing quite stable, and I think one should be cautiously hopeful about Bangladesh because it has a very active civil society movement. It has a very moderate form of Islam, a form of Islam which is, in my view, at least among the political party ruling Bangladesh today, a form of Islam that is compatible with cultural pluralism and with democracy. But on the other hand, one shouldn't be too sanguine either, because Bangladesh has had long periods of military rule. It's also been a breeding ground for terrorism. To our south, we have Sri Lanka, which has come through a brutal civil war in which nearly 100,000 people died, and believe me, the problems between Tamils and Sinhalese have not ended yet. To our east, there is Nepal, where there was a massive Maoist insurgency, which several years ago abandoned arms, but we're not sure whether this is temporary or permanent. Certainly it hasn't, the Maoists haven't really acquired a soft landing in the Nepali constitutional process yet. So what I've done is I've outlined to you 10 challenges India faces, and I'll list them again. There are 10 reasons India will not become a superpower. First, the serious and apparently intractable challenge of left-wing Maoist insurgency. Second, the currently recessive but ever-present danger of right-wing religious fundamentalism. Third, the decline and the corruption of the democratic center, and particularly the conversion of political parties into family firms. Fourth, the degradation of public institutions. Fifth, the growing gap between the rich and the poor. Sixth, the rapid pace of environmental degradation. Seventh, the apathy of the media. Eighth, political fragmentation and the policy incoherence it gives rise to. Ninth, the unreconciled borderlands. And 10th, unstable neighborhood. There are 10 reasons that India will not become a superpower, to which I will add the citizens, this is the analysis of the historian, to which I will add the citizens' hope and desire and wish that India must not become a superpower. Sometimes when I make these arguments, there are Indians who give me examples. They say, when America became a superpower, blacks still couldn't vote in the southern United States. When Russia attempted to become a superpower, whatever, there was trouble in the Muslim homelands and there was poverty. But I think, if anything, those should be cautionary tales. I mean, look at what happened to the Soviet Union, and look at what is going to happen to America in the next 20 or 30 years because of overreach. But apart from that, I think India is uniquely placed not to be a superpower, but to be what my colleague Sunil Khilnani calls a bridging power. I think what is really in India's DNA is greater influence in culture, in ideas, in promoting an ethic of democracy and diversity, which other countries can learn from. I mean, countries in Asia and Africa, which are seeking to move from authoritarian to democratic regimes, countries in Europe and North America that are trying to cope with immigration and diversity, countries in our own region, Sri Lanka, for example. If Sri Lanka had followed the Indian model of multilingualism, there would never have been a civil war. If Sinhala had not been made the sole official language, if Buddhism had not been made the sole official religion, there would not have been a civil war. So I think when I make the argument for India not being a superpower, I am not making it as an isolationist. I mean, on the one hand, it comes from a historian's reality check. I mean, I recognize, based on my studies and my travels across my country, I see and I recognize a series of major challenges that need to be addressed patiently and incrementally and need to be repaired. We are not the attempt to achieve some kind of superstar status, I think, distracts attention from a focus on these challenges. I mean, our Prime Minister, I don't know whether he's still in this continent, but he, the last 7 months, he's visited the United States 3 times. He hasn't visited most of the states of the Indian Union in the 6 years he has been Prime Minister. And the next column I write in the Indian press will be about this. You know, there's firefighting all around. I mean, what a visit by the Prime Minister to the conflict-torn district of Dantewala in central India would do. What a visit by the Prime Minister to Nagaland in the northeast might do. These are questions, but because the Prime Minister, like many of his political colleagues, like many more of the business elite and the Indian media, which is also a great cheerleader for superstardom, thinks that this is where his main emphasis should be. I mean, it's 3 times in 7 months. And I'm not speaking here as an anti-American or as an anti-colonialist, but simply as someone who's drawing attention to the fact that the Prime Minister of a great, far-flung and conflict-ridden republic has not, in 6 years as Prime Minister, visited most of the states. Why doesn't he go to Kashmir? Just think of the message it would send if the Prime Minister went to Kashmir. And again, I'm singling out the Prime Minister like I singled out that Mumbai industrialist simply as an illustration. There are many other influential people in India, in the business sector, in the intellectual sector, in the state sector, whose enchantment with expanding their ambition and reach on the global stage, I think, are undermining our collective hopes of managing these conflicts within. So I think India must not and will not become a superpower. Thank you very much.